You have no idea how bad it gets.
If you can't fix it, you got a standard.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bomb Squad Matinee. Today we are covering the seminal 2005 queer classic, Brokeback Mountain. And typically we do bits about movies and stuff, but I think that this movie has been a little bit unjustly memed to death. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I'm your host, Sydney Russell, and I am joined today by...
Hi, I'm Tanner Richard Kraft.
Jack Twist? Jack Nasty. Hi, I'm Boston Zwiebelman. I've been rewatching that clip for the last 3 days.
Hello, I'm Cody Suizo. Hello.
And we are joined today by a very special guest, making his third appearance on the channel. We have...
Hi, my name's Orion. My hobbies include herding sheep and heavily drinking.
Boo.
That's where it's at.
Thanks, guys.
I love to see it.
Happy
That's
to
true
be
about the
here.
heavily drinking.
Happy to have you. I feel you there hardcore. We've all been there, if I had a
Right.
nickel. So I guess when people think about Brokeback Mountain, apart, entirely divorced from this being a movie that has been subject to many a meme and many a joke and many a cultural zeitgeist moment that is not in the spirit of the actual movie. I think something that people heavily associate with it, rightfully so, is the abject tragedy of it all. It's a love story, it's a gay love story, and it is a gay tragedy. And that's important. But something that I was thinking of when I was rewatching was what are some other love stories, queer or not, that kind of fall into the category of just being so sad, whether that be they simply don't work out, or one of them dies, or they both die, or something like that. And what's your favorite example of that? For me, personally, it was a tough choice because this type of movie doesn't actually typically draw my attention. I love Brokeback Mountain. That's a big one. I love Titanic. Maybe a divisive one, but I recently watched a movie for the first time, and I'm so bad at research because I'm like blanking on the title. It has Emilia Clarke.
Last Christmas.
And
Okay.
me before you.
Gotcha.
And it has Haymitch. I'm blanking. And I didn't love the movie, but I felt it did such a great job at the yearning part of a romance film that it did make it sad. But I will say the movie that I think does the pain of a relationship ending the best is that I've seen most recently that felt the most real was The Worst Person in the World by Joachim Trier. Not only is there an absolutely excruciating breakup in the middle of the film that we ultimately know is probably for the best. Spoiler alert, one of the characters dies at the end, and it has a very sad scene where he reminisces on what could have been in their relationship and how he just wishes that they could just have the simplicity of what they once had. And oh my gosh, I've seen that movie so many times and I still bawl my eyes out every time. So that's going to be my answer. What about you, Austin? What would be your choice?
As much as I really don't want to admit it, those introductory level films I watched as a sad teenager in the suburbs still have a really big impact on me. Just because of the sheer number of times I shared this movie with like somebody I loved. My boring, honest pick is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'm not winning any awards for originality here, and that's partially because my lived experience as a person and a cinephile can easily be fit into a generic hipster mold. But if I had to recommend a couple of other films that are more so suited to like the LGBTQ crowd, for the lesbians, I'd recommend Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and for the gay boys, I'd recommend All of Us Strangers. Both of those films reduced me to
such a great choice.
a puddle of fucking tears, with all of us strangers particularly wounding me for the rest of my life. I cannot listen to The Power of Love by Frankie Goes to Hollywood without crying now. So hopefully that's like a more even answer that covers the whole spectrum of options. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to get over the one date movie that like carried me through high school and college. Back to you, Sydney.
Orion, what's your favorite romance movie where it doesn't work out?
So this is not a genre. I don't really watch a lot of romance movies, especially those with sad endings. But the first one that came to mind for me was, again, I have a really basic one, The Notebook. It's just kind of a classic title, and I'm gonna be honest, one I haven't seen in a while, but that is the first one I thought of, and I think its popularity just speaks to how much this specific kind of genre resonates with people, and like love is universal, and so is sadness. So that's my thought on that.
Good choice, good choice. Cody, how about you?
Gladly, Sydney. And Austin, to nip on you a little, the reason you aren't going to win the originality award is because I'm here. I'm going to talk about the 1920 film simply titled Romance. Simple as that, blunt as an atom bomb. You know, it's hard to really talk about it since it's a silent
I'm making
film.
this shit up, I swear to God.
Nope.
Guys, we have a movie about romance. What should we call it?
Romance.
Romance.
was the
You'll
20s.
get $500, which in today's money is Musk coin. Back to you, Cody.
Listen, they didn't have to try back in 1920, but, we did try. The beautiful leads, Doris Keane and Basil Sidney. So they did a really good job with the film. It ends with a really sad note. Why am I bringing this up? Is because I'm lying straight to your face. This is a lost film. Nobody can watch this film as of today. So I don't have an answer. I just wanted to waste your time. Back to you, Sydney.
It worked. I believed you. I
No,
believed
it's a
you.
real
I have
film.
deceived.
It's real, but it's just lost.
I believed you wholeheartedly that you had seen it and that you enjoyed it. But anyway, that's the saddest tragedy of all, I think.
True. It's lost. That's so sad.
That it's lost. Yeah, and it's so sad. All right, Tanner, how about you?
I thought long and hard about this question, and by that I totally don't mean that I have had multiple tabs open in Chrome after I Googled searched romantic movies or sad endings because I forgot to do anything when you sent the question. My final answer is, of course, perhaps the most romantic film of all time. I think it was realistically the first Hello Cat, the first movie that came to everyone's mind when this question was posed. And I'm not just ripping off the Reddit user Spacier Night on Reddit. My answer is, of course, the classic 2009 movie. 2009? Maybe 2006 movie? Adam Sandler's 50 First Dates.
Well, that's not.
Okay.
Don't they end up together?
Someone, yeah, they do end up together. That's the only thing that's sad is that she wakes up with 20 years gone, basically, which, you can get over that.
Just to watch
get
a
over
video
that.
every day of like summarizing the tragedy in her life.
He made a video for her every day for a year. Oh my God, 2025, The Notebook, the TikTok. He made a TikTok for her every day for a whole year.
Oh my God.
Chills. Chills.
Now it's a tragedy.
I'm so sorry I brought that into existence.
No.
Some studio executive's gonna hear that and go, I smell money. In that voice too. A lot of answers came to mind here. I think the first one that came to mind was Titanic. Titanic is my favorite James Cameron movie. It has a heartbreaking ending, but then I didn't go with it for two reasons. One, I figured someone else would say it first. Nobody did. I mean, Sydney, you mentioned it, but you didn't make it your answer. And two, I don't know, the last scene where she's like in Titanic heaven dancing is kind of like enough of a sweet note to end it on. You know, she finally got to see Jack again after 82 years or however long it was. That's kind of nice. Then I thought, oh, maybe I should go with a different late 90s movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio if I want to be really annoying with my answer. I thought about saying Romeo plus Juliet, which I find to be a really excellent adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. And if you want to talk about love stories with tragic endings, I mean, that's the love story with a tragic ending. But then I decided not to go with it. But I did decide to stay in the realm of Baz Luhrmann movies. When I decided I want to go with my favorite Baz Luhrmann movie, starring Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman from 2002, Moulin Rouge.
There we go.
The best jukebox musical movie ever made. And I'm not just saying that because I can't think of anything other that was a jukebox musical other than that shitty Camila Cabello Cinderella movie I watched in 2021. That's
Mamma
real.
Mia.
It exists.
Rock of Ages.
I believe you. I won't find out for myself, but I believe
Orion,
you.
how dare you? How dare you, Orion?
Sorry. I'm undermining you.
Yeah. How do I make you leave the call? I'm kidding, Cody. I'm not going to do that to you.
Not my editing.
Moulin Rouge is a fantastic movie. Great songs. It's heartbreaking at the end. You should watch it. I should watch it again. I haven't seen it in 10 years. I don't really remember what happens other than I know I cried at the end. So I'm pretty sure that meant something sad happened. But also, I cried at Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney rom-com. So I'm just kind of predisposed to cry at anything where they fall in love. So your mileage may vary. Back to you, Sydney.
All of these are really good answers, and I think it represents a pretty diverse array of romantic tragedy. And since we are talking about kind of a quintessential queer tragedy, it did kind of make me think a little bit about, especially after Austin's answer, another film that I didn't even think about at all that is a romantic queer drama that ripped my heart into shreds, and I just wanted to give an honorable mention to it. It's called Supernova, starring Stanley Tucci and Colin Firth. And oh my goodness, I cried so hard. I cried buckets. And I think that brings us into our actual topic of today, Brokeback Mountain. What a picture. I think, as Tanner said about his movie, maybe the mileage may vary on people's takes on this movie, but I recently saw it again, because I'd seen it in high school, but I recently saw it again for the first time at a 20th anniversary screening of it. And I took my friend who somehow had never seen it, even though he is a queer cinephile as well. And I was just thinking this is kind of a biblical film in many ways to people who resonate with this type of material. And I think I'll just go first and just say my general thoughts on this movie. First, Heath Ledger. What a guy. It is kind of incredible. I think not to besmirch the name of Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's one of our finest performers of today. But I can't help but feel like the second Heath Ledger comes in, he almost makes everyone else's performance look like child's play. Like he genuinely has such a gravitas and weight to his performance. He is so magnetic. I'm not just saying that because this is a posthumous release. I mean, the movie's not a posthumous release, but this podcast sure is. And
Heath Ledger died?
I'm not. Oh, sorry, you found out
You might
this
want to sit
way.
down for this one, Tanner.
Yeah, sorry, Tanner. Sorry, Tanner.
How long have you been sitting on this information?
Yeah, sorry, I just had to find out this way. But I just, watching it again, I was just in awe of his performance. I could not believe he was, 24 or something when he was in this role. This is a film that spans decades for them, and it is believable in every decade. I think every performer in this movie, even the Linda Cardellini's and the David Harbors and the smaller roles here, are just, they're firing on all cylinders. I think the role that this movie has played in popular culture has been important, even if there has been some memeage, as I've repeated several times now. But I'm a big fan of this movie. I think it is very culturally relevant, and I think it is amazing at showcasing just how much oppression just ruins lives so unnecessarily. And it's not just the people who are actively being oppressed whose lives are affected. It's literally everyone around them, and it just causes so much damage that these people just couldn't live the lives that they truly wanted to live. I think Ang Lee is a really gifted director. I wouldn't have, maybe if I was a 2005 cinephile, I maybe wouldn't have been like, oh, Ang Lee is doing this movie. But I was, 7 years old in 2005, so I didn't know who these people were, but I knew of the movie as a youth. But I think he does an amazing job. I think he's a great director. I think the script, I haven't read the source material, but I think it is so empathetic, so kind, even when these characters are doing bad things. It's just so heartbreaking. That's my general take. Tanner, what are your thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
All right, so I first watched this movie the summer before I went to Webster, and before, so that's a year before I even ever thought about becoming a film major or anything like that. And I loved it then. I thought it was an amazing film. I thought it was one of the most wonderful depictions of queer people in a mainstream movie that felt very honest about, the passion and the romance, but also the inherent dangers and risks that come with it. In that homophobic era, especially in the American West at that time. And Wyoming looks exactly the same today. They all dress the same. Fun fact. Wyoming is culturally stagnated in 1963. They don't realize that the Civil Rights Bill was passed up there. Anyway, I don't like Wyoming. I'm a big fan of great performances. I've said this many a times before, and I'll say this first. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is great in this movie. I think it is one of his great performances. I think it is maybe his first great performance of his career. It's either this or Bubble Boy, depending on whether or not you think I'm being serious when I say that. If you think I sincerely mean Bubble Boy's a great performance, then you probably would like that movie. I think his turn, his twist here is really fantastic. That sort of like, I don't know, that slight gentleness he has, I think is really interesting from him, considering I feel like so many roles he's done since then is him basically being wide out, bugged out, and it's great stuff. Like Nightcrawler is probably his best performance, and he's great in that, but it's so different from what he does here to me, and that's great. Michelle Williams, great. Anne Hathaway, great. Whole cast is great. David Harbour's in this first scene. That fucked me up. I didn't know who David Harbour was when I first watched this movie. So when I watched this movie as a 19-year-old, I'm like, oh, look, a guy with a beard. And now, all these years later, after Stranger Things, I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy with the album, blah, blah, blah. Or with the album about him. Fucking Lily Evans or whatever. I don't know. I haven't followed it that closely. All the performances are great, but oh my God, Heath Ledger's performance in this movie is insane. Oh my God. I watched this movie and maybe this is problematic to say, I became convinced momentarily that boy was secretly gay. It was too real. It was too good. Especially for its era, not only like just the passion, but like the anger at him, at the world and at himself for the way he is. It's just so breathtaking. The way he's like, and then some of this is the script, and the script here is fantastic. Ang Lee's direction is fantastic, but like the way he's like, I never want to see you again, and then 4 years later when he finally sees him again, how he literally can't keep his hands off of him is so, oh God, it is one of the finest gay performances I've ever seen from a straight actor. It's so, I can't believe he was like what you said. He was 26 when this came out, which means he was probably 25 when this was filmed. Jesus Christ, I'm 27. What the fuck am I doing in my life? Point being is that at 25 years of age, to deliver a performance like this is just remarkable. Not that I'm surprised, because he's great in earlier movies like The Patriot and 10 Things I Hate About You. He's amazing in those he never gave a bad performance. But this truly is his magnum opus. And I know, yes, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight is also a great performance for very, very different reasons. It shows his range, that the same performance, those two performances came from this actor. Absolutely brilliant. Heath Ledger, Heath Ledger is just so effing brilliant in this. I love it. Ang Lee, it's so crazy to watch this movie, because here's the happen. I'm watching this movie on my TV back here. I'm watching this movie. My movie shelf is to the left there. For a brief moment, my eyes wandered to the left of my movie shelf during a down moment in the movie. My eyes wandered to my 4K Blu-rays, and my eyes lock in on my 4K Blu-ray copy of the 2003 movie Hulk, also directed by Ang Lee. And I look at that 4K Blu-ray, and I look at the movie I'm watching, and I look back at that Blu-ray, and then look back at the movie I'm watching, and I go, both are masterpieces. And similar to Heath Ledger's range from The Dark Knight to this, Ang Lee's range and some of his earlier action stuff and Hulk compared to this is just, what a brilliant filmmaker. It's so, the filmmaking here is so gentle, so quiet. I love how this movie kind of just like, it sort of drops you in the action, as it were. You don't really get introduced to Ennis and Jake except in the context of how they meet one another, because the whole movie's about the relationship between them. I found that to be really interesting as a choice. I feel like a lesser filmmaker or a lesser scriptwriter would like have us like meet Ennis's girlfriend before he meets Jake. And I think it's really interesting that we meet Jake before we ever meet his girlfriend. So he only alludes to having a girlfriend that, quite frankly, I mean, I'd seen the movie before, so I know. But like, you watch the movie and you go, is he even telling the truth about having a girlfriend, or is he in such denial about being gay? He's trying to like he senses something and he's trying to convince himself or something. Obviously, he was in a relationship, but you don't know. You don't know because of the brilliance of how they start things off. I could gush about this endlessly. It's gorgeous to look at too. I love I know I was shitting on Wyoming earlier. That was mostly a joke. Beautiful state, so much beautiful everything. I don't know if it was actually filmed in Wyoming, but I know a lot of Wyoming actually does look like that. So all the nature sequences just look brilliant. But at the end of the day, it's a heartbreaking tragedy. It's their love was so real, and when Jack tragically dies without getting to say goodbye, it fucking sucks. And I was crying last night watching it, and it was just really moving. Just how they weren't allowed to love each other because, you know, society said it was wrong, yada yada. I'm speaking like fucking straight guy discovers cinema in 2005 right now, even though I'm not a straight guy, and I discovered cinema in 2007, thank you, when the Simpsons movie came out. But
I know that's right.
this is such a, God, I could gush endlessly. There are some things I want to bring up. There's one specific thing I want to bring up, but I think I'll bring it up during general discussion. Overall, this is, like I said, it's one of my favorite movies ever. It's maybe my favorite gay movie. Don't quote me on that. I'm blanking on other examples. Unfortunately, the only other example I can think of is Rent, and I'm not going to go on here and say that's my favorite gay movie. So, it's a wonderful movie, and I'm so glad we had the chance to talk about it. Back to you, Sydney.
Great thoughts. Austin, what are your thoughts?
In 1993, get this, Philadelphia, this movie that confronted the AIDS epidemic.
Philadelphia, that's another gay movie I love. Sorry.
The alley-oop. I knew you needed it, baby. No, but see, in 93, Philadelphia, there was this movie that combated the AIDS epidemic and homophobia kind of head on, and somehow it grossed $206 million worldwide. 3 years after that, The Birdcage showed that having flamboyant queer leads could net you $185 million at the global box office. But one thing that the American people find more dangerous than movies about gay people dying of AIDS or prancing about like cartoons are movies about gay men that look and act like two run-of-the-mill straight guys. At a time when most gay characters came from cities and spoke with a lisp, here comes a movie about how those ranchers from like the Ford truck commercial could secretly be in love. And by some miracle, only a year after conservatives made $500 million showing everybody from church The Passion of the Christ, a Hollywood gay movie about gay cowboys made $178 million and won 3 Academy Awards. We got a lot of people here today, so I'll be quick. It was nice revisiting Brokeback Mountain. The performances are outstanding, and the screenplay by Larry McMurtry and Diane Osana does a phenomenal job of capturing complex emotions with a lot of restraint. Lots of big feelings in here getting conveyed with short sentences. And the film even ends on an incomplete sentence that's supposed to express the most heartbreaking emotion of all. Strange as this may sound, as somebody who grew up in the W. Bush administration, I have this strange affinity for hopeless, tragic, gay love stories, because they were the only type of queer story that existed in movies for a long time. So seeing a movie about this horribly doomed gay romance kind of takes me back to feeling like a teenager again. Long before the more like grounded complexities of stuff like Call Me By Your Name, every gay movie had this apocalyptic, too beautiful for this world thing going on, so it kind of feels like visiting an old friend watching a movie like this. Besides the classic 2000-aughts doomed gayness, one other thing that resonates with me very deeply about Brokeback is the intensity and obsession surrounding like a liminal romance. When you fall in love with somebody in an in-between setting, where you are very much stuck there temporarily, night and day, but it's not your permanent at-home life. Like falling in love at like a conference, or on tour, or in Brokeback Mountain's case, at a job site. There's something very intense about associating loving another person with literally escaping your everyday life. And then when you combine all that with a type of love that's normally stigmatized, like homosexuality, you get this very powerful thing. Apparently, Annie Proulx, she got lots of letters after the short story for this was published, from all sorts of like rural country guys saying that they had feelings and experiences similar to what happened in Brokeback Mountain. And it makes total sense to me. This is one of those films where the characters' actions make perfect sense the more you're able to like mentally put yourself in their shoes. Okay, to wrap up my thoughts here, Brokeback Mountain was an important cultural cornerstone that kind of helped LGBTQ stories be taken more seriously in the Hollywood landscape. It's a devastating, thoughtful movie, kind of in the same vein as Gus Van Sant's My Own Private Idaho. And also a lot like that movie, contains a beautiful man who died too soon, putting in an incredible lead performance. And while this may seem kind of miserable in one note to like younger kids who have access to stuff like Love, Simon and Fire Island, please understand, movies like this were necessary to make straight people feel bad until they gave us marriage rights. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. Back to you, Sydney.
Beautifully said. Cody, what are your thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
My thoughts on Brokeback Mountain, let's do this, because something important about this film that no one's brought up yet. This is a mid-2000s film, distributed by Focus Feature, which is a subsidiary of Universal. Which means I had to watch it the only way Universal wanted me to watch movies in the mid-2000s. I bought it on HD DVD.
What?
No, how the fuck? Where'd you find that? Do you have an HD DVD player?
No, but this is a combo format, so it works regardless.
Holy shit.
This is how I watched the movie. And by the way, Sydney, that's the most interesting thing I'm going to say during my discussion. So if you want to cut my mic at any time, by all means.
Orion, what are your thoughts?
Well,
Okay, but I'll make my thoughts brief because this is my first time going in, and I kind of watched it very passively. You know, it was on the screen. I was doing other things while I was watching it, which is a very interesting movie to want to do this with because, boy, saying verbally, "Oh, they're butt fucking now," was something that came out of my mouth, and that was very entertaining. Very pretty looking movie. I think Tanner already said that. You know, I kind of don't like going back to 2000s movies because they have like a really certain look to them that I can't really describe, but this movie looks really nice. And the score in this movie is actually really nice as well. That didn't get brought up. It's almost like calm and unassuming. Yeah, there's got this undertone that's just like, you just kind of like, I don't know how to specifically describe, but you just know something's just not gonna end well, which I feel like it perfectly accompanies this movie. Heath Ledger, everyone's already gave him his flowers. He's probably the best thing in this movie. Amazing performance. I wasn't super invested in the movie, which is kind of my problem. I think that just comes down to like romance movies in general. You're either in or you're out, and I wasn't very very in, unfortunately. I just thought there was a lot of weird seances in the screenplay. Maybe if I read the original like short story, I'd probably get more into it, but time and all that. But for my first rodeo, I thought it was an okay movie. I definitely say by the end, by the last leg, it started to get pretty good, especially when it got to the the very well known scene. Like I already forgot how to say the line. Like, I wish I knew how to quit you. Like that kind of started like tugging the strings a little bit, and then just the bluntness of just Jack being just dead. You don't really even need to like show it or anything. It just kind of gets told, which is a very like realistic way to go about it. It's kind of sad, but overall, I think this movie, if you've only heard of this movie through 2000s memes and stuff of the sorts, I would say genuinely give it a shot, because I think you're missing out on a pretty good movie if you only heard it through very outdated jokes. Back to you, Sydney.
Well said. Orion, what are your thoughts?
So first time I ever watched this movie, like a lot of my high school is when I like started really falling in love with movies and cinema in general. And so my first time watching Brokeback Mountain was in high school, and I had to write an essay about it, talking about like the themes and the symbolism and all that. And I don't remember any of what I wrote, so I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. I really love this movie. I watched it actually earlier today, and kind of going off of what Austin was saying about being able to convey big emotions with little words, there's a lot of subtext in this movie, and I think it fits really well with the environment they're in. I mean, they're in Wyoming, they're in a very rural place, where with topics like this, like sort of taboo subjects such as like homosexuality during that time, like I think that approach to dialogue was really smart, and had me lost a little bit in certain parts, but overall I think it was the way to go. I also something that I would always notice in this movie, even the first time I saw it and then when I rewatched it again today, was the colors in this movie are something to take note of. I noticed that when Ennis and Jack are in their straight lives, there's the colors really interesting. With Ennis, things are generally pretty dull for the most part, and then with Jack, while there is a good amount of like bright color and stuff, it feels artificial, but when they're together, they're in this beautiful like landscape, and then they're in their own kind of utopia. And I just really enjoy the visual part of visual storytelling. That's such a stupid thing to say, but it's true, and I think it's executed really well in this movie. For whatever reason, I didn't have subtitles on when I was watching it this time around, and so I think this is a pretty common complaint of some of the dialogue got lost for me a little bit, so it took me out of the experience for a little bit. But no, this is just an incredible movie, really incredible performances, really star-studded cast. I mean, Anne Hathaway, Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger, Randy Quaid is in this movie for a little bit in the beginning. I was like, hey man, I literally have only seen you in Christmas Vacation, but hey, welcome, I guess. But yeah, just an incredible movie. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Also, just dynamics between characters are really cool. Seeing how how Jack is able to calm Ennis down when he's getting like emotional and like knowing what he needs, but his own wife, I guess he hasn't opened up to her enough to her to even like really know that. And I guess exploring the complications of like, what do you do when your husband's gay? And like obviously support him, but like I don't know, there's a lot of complicated situations in this movie that are just portrayed really well and just executed beautifully, and very sad. I actually cried while watching this movie, which I didn't really expect to because I knew what happened. But you know, if it's able to still excuse me, if it's able to still tug at my heartstrings like 7 years later, then I think that's a darn good movie.
Absolutely. It definitely is a testament to how effective it is at being horribly sad. Anyway, I think this is a good time. I'm sorry, Orion, I might have cut you off, but I thought you might have been at your conclusion as well. So
yes, I was. Don't worry.
Okay, I was like, oh my goodness. I was very confident, and then I went, oh, wait, maybe you weren't finished. I'm so sorry. I think that this is a good time for an ad break.
Yeehaw!
There you go.
Woo! I'm burning his guts out! Waving to the girls in the stands! He's kicking me to high heaven! But he don't dashboard me, no!
Nice run!
And after that ad break, welcome to another ad.
Moviepalette.com.
Damn!
You see this shit? You better, because I can't see it. It's blocking my face. This is the movie palette for the movie Punch Drunk Love. You can see it here in the corner. I hope this is the right corner. Anyway,
It's not.
Punch Drunk Love. Basically what Movie Palette does is it slices up every frame of the movie, takes predominant color, and puts it all on a little canvas for your viewing pleasure. This is the one for the movie Punch Drunk Love. Like I said 15 seconds ago, you can get one for this movie, for the movie we're talking about today, Brokeback Mountain. Orion was talking about the colors earlier, so it's a pretty one to look at. Any other movie you want, and if they don't already have it for sale for a little extra money, you can get one custom made. So go ahead and go to moviepalette.com, add your movie palette to your cart. But before you check out, go ahead and enter the code SQUAD15 to save 15% on your order. Thank you so much for listening, and now back to the show.
Thank you for that, Tanner. If I had a movie palette to show, I would have shown it, and I certainly intend to, because as you might see behind me, my walls are relatively barren, and what better option could there be for the cinephile in your life than movie palette? Anyway, back to the show, for real this time. Moving on over to general discussion about Brokeback Mountain. We all kind of stated our thoughts and our opinions on them, our preliminary ones, but I guess I do kind of have a question, just a food for thought maybe, that I don't really think there's a specific answer. I just kind of want to know people's opinions on it. I think that this movie has maybe unjustly, I would say, been accused of kind of like being something that is pandering to straight people. I don't know if it's necessarily something that I agree with, because I do think that this shows empathy and heart and doesn't try to sanitize anything that would potentially alienate a straight audience. But I think some people over the years have had just some relatively understandable reticence about it being a straight cast, straight director, etc., etc. And I guess I just am wondering kind of like what your guys' thoughts are on like the representation of it all, because I personally think that the work that this has done to be such a cultural mainstay, that both queer and straight audiences alike can really agree on its impact. I think it kind of justifies the means as well, as long as everyone is doing their part and playing such empathetic, understood, fleshed out roles and not caricaturizing anything. I'm just gonna kind of leave the floor open. If anyone has any takes on that, I would love to hear it, because I'm not married. I'm gonna start off with our special guest, Orion.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much. So I was in college. I took a class called Queer Cinema.
Dude, no way.
I know. And my professor of that class had the same take of she actually specifically said that she disliked Brokeback Mountain because she felt it was very straight pandering. And I can understand that perspective because, like you said, it is straight cast, straight director. And it sort of begs the question of, can someone outside of a community do good by that community and represent that community well? And I think that answer is yes. I think that it's difficult and it doesn't go right every single time. In fact, there are plenty of times where it's gone kind of wrong. But I think, like you said, these performances are so empathetic and this script is so carefully written that I think it works really well. Like you were talking about earlier, or someone was talking about earlier, I'm not sure if it was you, Sydney, or someone else, about like how people were talking about similar experiences they've had to this, like the events in the movie. I forgot who said that, I'm sorry. But no, another example of a straight director making a queer movie. Well, this is more of a documentary, so it's not exactly on topic, but it's like a, I can't remember quite if it was like a narrative / I think it's a documentary. I don't quite know the genre of movie, but it's called Tangerine. It's we all know what I'm talking about. Awesome. Mm-hmm. It's about, the lives of trans sex workers in Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles. And so that's an example of like straight guy director coming in and listening to the people that he's working with and just being very intentional and doing the proper research that needs to be done to portray something realistically, not necessarily all beautifully or all wonderfully, but just like realistic issues and realistic, ways that people are just in general. And in Brokeback Mountain, we see that, we see everyone in that movie doing not so cool stuff in all kinds of different situations. And it's not about portraying queer people as good, but portraying them as people. And so that movie, I think, does a good job of that, even though thankfully nowadays we have, more informed queer representation. I think that Brokeback Mountain is a really important building block in getting us to where we can be now. So yeah.
Hell yeah, really well said. Tanner, what about you?
I find that a lot of the time, I'm not saying this is always the case, but personally, I find a lot of the time when people come in and say, X demographic can't make art of Y demographic to be incredibly intellectually lazy people that aren't interested in thought and just want to sound smart. I'm not saying your queer cinema professor was like that, Orion, but if that my only impression of them makes me think they are an incredibly intellectually lazy person. Are they?
No. Well, pretentious.
That's all I need to hear.
Pretentious would be the better word, I think.
Oh, even better. I'm not saying that it always goes well when straight people make a gay movie or when white people make a movie about black people. I'm not saying that always goes well, but I don't think when it goes poorly that is inherently because they were white. Or because they were straight and not gay. I think, I don't know, my problem is that it almost comes off with this implication that infantilizes oppressed and marginalized people with the implication that, but they can't do wrong. It feels very infantilizing and offensive to me personally. I hate it. I hate it when people are like, this straight actor can't play a gay actor. They're straight. The fuck do you think acting is? Now, I'm not saying that this is that is not always the situation. For example, I do personally think it's unacceptable for a cis man to play a trans woman. I do, however, think it's acceptable for a cis woman to play a trans woman. That's just my opinion. I've never seen a cis woman play a trans woman, so I don't know how often that really comes up.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is literally the only one I can think of right now.
I believe you. I haven't seen the show. I've only seen season 1, so maybe that does come up later. I don't know. It sounds mean, and I'm not saying that every person that says this is intellectually lazy. Sometimes they have decent arguments that back it up. I just find that a lot of the time, if you try to interrogate their beliefs, it kind of just bumbles down to, well, because they're not Y, they're X, they're not Y. And I think that is because here's the thing, I think the contradiction can be what makes some works of art interesting. While, excuse me, sorry. I'm struggling thinking of good examples. I don't know. A movie, Crash 2005
There we go.
would suck no matter who made it. It's not helped by the fact that it's a largely white crew, creative people that make it, but I don't know. I believe that, how do I say this without, I have seen art from black artists that I think handles race stuff clumsily in a similar manner to Crash. I'm not saying, I guess the only difference is that unlike Crash, these black artists that made art that clumsily handled race relations or stuff like that didn't really have a budget or backing to work with. I think the problem that people have is not even necessarily that they don't think straight people should make gay movies or white people shouldn't make black movies. I think the problem is that for 90% of Hollywood's history, only straight people were allowed to make gay movies. Only white people were able to make black movies. And to this day, it is still exceptionally hard for oppressed people to make art. But the solution is not make the straights and whites or whatever make less art. The solution is put more money in the arts and give opportunities to gay artists, to black artists, etc. It is my stance. I think it's a real problem, but it's approaching at it from the wrong perspective. That's just my take. Really rambling. You like dropped a fucking grenade on us, Sydney. I wasn't having expect to talk about
quite the opener for our general discussion.
I was gonna open this shit with like, so was David Harbour cruising? What was up with that? That was how I was gonna open up general discussion. You opened up with, so should the straights make the gay shit? Answer. And I was like, I guess we're doing that. Fair enough. This is an important movie. We should have mature discussions.
I didn't expect everyone to have an answer. I kind of just wanted to know the general thought, because I think you can't really discuss a movie like this without at least kind of thinking about that. Fair. Because it is backlash that it has gotten since its inception. And I'll just say one final thing, and then we'll move on to the more fun parts of this just rompous fun movie. I think it's a kind of a slippery slope when we start to police films when it comes to sexuality, because, for example, we will never know if Heath Ledger, we'll never be able to know what his, fully what his sexuality is. We don't know any of these people's sexualities. I think about Lee Pace being forcibly outed because he played a queer role, and he was not ready to do that. And so I think when something, I don't think sexuality is necessarily always something that is just inherently fixed. And so when we go around saying, well, you can't do that because of this, we don't actually fully know. And so I'm always reticent. I said that word earlier. I'm always hesitant. Switch it up.
What's that Netflix gay boy show? What was that fucking...
Heartstopper.
Yeah, that actor was forced to be outed against his will because a bunch of fucking teenagers on the internet were like, this is homophobic because you're not gay.
They ruin everything, like always.
Teenagers, am I right?
It's well-meaning. I'm not going to sit here and say that people are just I think people care and they don't want people to be misrepresented, and they want queer actors to play queer characters and tell queer stories and everything like that. But I just worry about things like that. And I'm sorry to drop a bomb on you guys. I did not even think about it for real until
Austin wants to say something. I think.
Bomb Squad. Oh, Austin, please. I'm so sorry.
I think it's so part of that criticism might be that there weren't enough gay people involved with working on the film, like straight director Ang Lee. Gus Van Sant, an openly gay man, and Pedro Almodovar. How the fuck do you say that guy's name? I've never had to say it out loud before. Almodovar. Yeah, another openly gay guy, Pedro Almodovar. They were both in charge of like the stewards of this project for a long time. Because this was in production since like 1997, but every time the wheels would get spinning, it would just fall the fuck off. And then one day, I think this random producer guy, I was listening to him, he just like got really attached to the story. This was closer to like when it, shit hit the fan in 2005. And him just kind of pushing forward incessantly was randomly what got this made. But the two openly gay directors had already dropped out of frustration by that point. So this movie was so close to having a gay director, but it just didn't work out that way. Tanner, what are you?
If I remember correctly, it wasn't a producer that all of a sudden had this psychic drive and push. It was fucking Ang Lee himself that when he discovered the story, he went, I want to make this movie. I want to make this movie. And he like told his agent, do whatever this takes. Like Ang Lee wanted to retire for a bit after Hulk, not like retire, but take an elongated break. And then Ang Lee discovered the story and went, no, I gotta make this shit. And then he won his first Best Director award and became the first Asian man to win Best Director.
Plus, it's also like, view it from like, they were working up from the ground here. Like, this is so far from being like, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. It's a miracle that this got made with the amount of gay that it has. It wasn't like somebody was gonna swing in and be like, actually, we were gonna use this gay guy before you showed up. It was a fight to just get this made. And one other gay fact, they shot this in Canada. Gay marriage was legalized that year, 2005. And two crew members came out on set right at the beginning. They were like, we're happy about the gay project, and you know what? We're gay. This caused a lot of gay happiness.
Hell yeah.
And we're interesting. We're talking about how this is like catering to the straight whatever, because it's a straight director and it's a straight cast, etc., etc. You bringing up how Ang Lee shot this in Canada, and that just made me realize something. Well, if it's a problem that a straight director and straight cast made this movie, Ang Lee, this is a very American movie, right? Very much of the American West, right? Ang Lee is from Taiwan. Ang Lee is not a white man. He's a Taiwanese man. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but nobody ever criticized, partially because it's kind of fucking weird to go, look at this Taiwanese guy taking work from white guys. But like, it's the same principle, is it not? If you're trying to approach it specifically from you should only make art from your demographic, your perspective, which Ang Lee is not he was not from the West. He's a Taiwanese man. Not that there's anything wrong with that, obviously, but like it's you guys know what I'm saying. Again, it goes back to the thing where the problem isn't that a straight director makes a gay movie. The problem is that there are not enough opportunities for gay directors to make movies, but it's not Ang Lee's fault that he had this opportunity and he didn't like give it. Like Austin said, there were gay directors attached before him.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good point. Anyway, was David Harbour cruising?
Thank you for pushing on all of our minds.
I was like, when he was talking to Jack Twist, I was like, oh my god, Brokeback Mountain 2? Is there a sequel coming?
Well, not with Jack
Twist. Well,
Too broke, too bad.
well, obviously.
Too broke, too back.
Fucking great.
Too Fast, Too Furious also describes gay sex.
I thought that's what got him killed at the end was David Harbour cruising, because the dad at the farm is like, oh, we talked about you for a long time. Then he got with that Stranger Things guy, and it's been
I was thinking about that. The way Anne Hathaway kind of just so casually, without emotion, say, yeah, he got killed by a tire. At first I went, oh, Ennis is just imagining that Jack Twist got beat up in a gay hate crime, but now I'm like, shit, did he? I don't know.
I think that's why that's why it was so tense at the end, especially like with his like parents and stuff. I think they didn't want to tell everyone, yeah, he got beat up because he was gay. I think that's just a story that she told him because I don't know, maybe that's like the like
I fully believed it at first because it seemed very possible.
I noticed specifically about her performance, she recited it as though she had memorized, like it was like a routine. At least that's kind of was my interpretation of that like very brief moment in the movie.
It's like she was expecting to hear a phone call from Ennis because maybe after Jack was discovered doing gay and got gay hate crimed, she went those fishing trips.
Yeah, I think she knew for a lot longer than she let on, and compared to Ennis's wife, Elma. What's her name?
Alma.
I think they both knew basically at about the same time what was going on, but you know, they're different women, so they coped differently with it, or like didn't let on, I guess, pretty immediately.
Well, they're different women that cope with it differently, but also I think Jack and I keep wanting to call him Ennis. I don't know why, or Garth. I keep wanting to call Ennis Garth. I don't know why. But Ennis and Jack, I think they're hidden, their closetedness kind of presents differently. I think Jack was, I don't know, he was the one that made the first move. I think he's a bit more accepting of himself and therefore is maybe a little quote unquote happier. He seems to have a decent life as his wife, while I don't know, Alma and Ennis just nobody seemed happy there, if you asked me.
Yeah, no, like as soon as they had kids, it just went downhill. Like they had some happy moments, like when they were like sledding or whatever the fuck, but like no. Like,
well, there's like a big thing where like Jack, I don't know, it's partially for himself because he hates his wife's father, but he also to an extent stands up for his wife when he's like, no, turn the goddamn TV off.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting scene. I think it says a lot about the differences in their dynamics, and I think I feel like Jack had a lot more, like, just in general, more fight in him, because I think he was a little bit more content with where he was in his life. I mean, ultimately, like, not because he was the one who truly wanted to run away and be with Ennis, and Ennis was a bit more pragmatic and like, well, I can't, and so life sucks, you know?
Also, a big issue with that is class, too. Sorry.
I was literally about to say,
no,
this conversation made me realize Ennis and
right.
Alma were fucking poor as shit. They could barely make Ennis was, or Alma was working a job in the 60s as a woman. That was starting to become a more common thing, but dual income households were still very uncommon unless you were fucking poor. Meanwhile, Jack, as far as I can tell, had upward mobility in his class projection because of how he married.
Yes, she was Lorene, Anne Hathaway's character, was relatively independent, I think. Like, I think she kind of had her own things going, and I think her marriage to Jack was less central to her life in the way that Alma and Ennis were, just so deeply entwined, and there was just so much real love, I think, but also that just quickly turned to resentment, because how does it not, you know, how do you not hate your husband for being in a gay relationship and cheating on you, and also just
a lot of people give Michelle Williams shit for this. He's cheating on her. She's allowed to be mad.
Yeah, like 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also, I don't think this is justified. I don't think he has any right to hate her, but it is completely emotionally understandable that he has projected everything that he deems wrong with his life kind of onto her, because it's like, well, you represent what I don't actually want, but I have to have societally, because it's just the time we live in, you know, and it showcases his own self-loathing. He doesn't feel right about it, but he also can't deny how he feels about things, and I think Alma in a lot of ways is kind of like a little bit of like a beating heart to this story, because you just feel for her so much. Like I just there's the scene that we were talking about, Jack Nasty. Oh my gosh, it's just how do How do you
Like
keep
that
that under
crazy.
how do you keep that to yourself and not just explode on the person that you are
for like
supposed
so
to be?
long too. I feel like we don't talk about, a lot of people don't realize how much time actually passes in the movie. It's like 20 years. Like
63 to 83 at the end.
Yeah, 20 years exactly.
Wow, that's all.
So
You know,
crazy.
something I wanted to say about with Jack, and this is the real thing I wanted to bring up in general discussion, is that last scene between Ennis and Jack's parents. How, okay, I'm just gonna say this, so I'm gonna ask this question and see if anyone agrees with me so I don't sound stupid. Everyone else agrees that at the bare minimum, Jack's mom knew what was going on, if not both of them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
so.
so I'm not stupid for
1000%.
thinking that.
No,
Did
yeah.
anyone else get the interpretation that at least Jack's mom seemed, how do I phrase this,
Cool with
about as accepting as someone in her position in that time could reasonably be expected to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And maybe even the dad, maybe not as much, but like it seemed like, I don't know. At the very
think
minimum,
maybe-
the mom.
The dad knew
Yeah.
and fucking hated it. The dad was a
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not like he wanted to. I don't know. It was interesting. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
The dad hated it, and that's why he refused to let the ashes be spread at Brokeback Mountain. But mom knew, and mom was okay with it, or at least relative. I don't know. I think she seemed fine with it.
Yeah. I
Like
think she
not
had
even
a lot of.
not just accepting, but like maybe confused, worried because of what that would mean for Jack in that world. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I love my son, which is really remarkable for, again, a conservative old American West couple, at least one of them, for that time. And I just
Yeah.
thought maybe that also has something to do with Jack being like, let's just run away. Because also it seemed like even if Jack's dad hated it, it seemed like he never told his son no to another man coming in and helping on the ranch and staying with him. He hated it, but it seemed like he never said no to that.
Yeah. I think that's a huge testament to who his parents were. I didn't have anything else to say. I just completely agree with what you said. I do also want to talk about the house itself, back to what I was talking about earlier about colors, but if people have other stuff to say about his parents, we can talk about that first.
No, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Talk
So-
about color talk.
Why is the house just painted white? I think that's a little weird. And I think it just goes back to because after Jack dies, I think it's just like because everything is just so devoid of color. It's like, especially when I first watched the movie, the house is like eerie. It's very empty. I just like the single cross on the wall, on like one of those walls. It's just like weird. It's like almost like he's looking back into a memory. And like, I don't know, I just another example of the visuals just being so good and just so, smartly used. Did anyone else think that house was just kind of like weird and uncanny almost? Just like everything
Absolutely.
just felt so staged. And I just thought that was such an interesting, it was just very interesting. It
Which
felt
house?
so
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
You keep
Jack's
going and I
parents'
don't know
house.
what. Okay,
Jack's
I
parents'
thank you.
house.
You kept going on about this house and I just kept sitting here like, which house?
It's okay.
He's gonna
It's
say
okay.
eventually, right?
No, no, you're good. But no, it just is so. It's such a stark difference from the rest of the movie, and that's just something I took note of. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
I've never really thought about it like that. But I did on my last rewatch. I did think about how much it contrasted. The scenes in Ennis's family life. It's just constant noise and constant chaos and constant dysfunction, and in a way, it is kind of representative of how after Jack dies, there's just none of that in Ennis's life. I mean, I know he's also divorced from his wife at that point and has a relative relationship with his kids, but then you go over to Jack's life and you just see the pieces. And I really, really like what you said about it's like he's looking into a memory, because it is like hollow and echoey and just kind of plain and barren. And I didn't think about it at all while I was watching it, but that's a really good point. I'm really intrigued by that. So was David Harbour cruising?
Was David Harbour cruising? Question mark.
Yeah.
David Harbour cruising? Question mark.
Please.
Lily Allen would like to
Really?
know.
Really, just such a star-studded cast
Yeah.
of stars that like fucking Kate Mara's in this.
Oh yeah.
I forgot. Yep, she is. Yeah, she sure is.
Like that's crazy. Anna Faris is in this.
Oh yeah.
Big cast. Really big cast. Excuse me.
It
And, like,
What's the
obviously-
budget for this movie?
14 million.
$7 and a ham sandwich.
In today's money, that's
And Lee
$14
made that
million.
14 million by.
It was
that's
$14
today.
million. This movie made $178 million
Boom, baby.
worldwide.
Focus
If
pictures.
this movie came out today, Donald Trump would tweet about it, number one. And number two, it would make literally $7 and a ham sandwich at the box office.
The budget would have been $179 million.
And it's this movie's fault because this was the first ever movie from a studio that released the DVD while it was still playing in theaters.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh wow.
Not just any
Also
DVD, baby.
first one where the DVD came out the same day as the digital download.
Oh, interesting.
It's all fucking Ang Lee's fault. This
wanted
is
people to
Gemini Man's
I was
fault.
just gonna say I knew I hated Gemini Man.
I saw Gemini Man in theaters, and on the way to seeing Gemini Man, the guy that was giving me a ride got into his first ever car accident. It was a drive away car accident, but he's like panicking, calling his mom, and I'm just sitting there like, I didn't say this, but in my mind I'm thinking, we're gonna make it to the movie on time.
All this so you can see Gemini.
I mean, I would too. I'd be like, okay, cool. Sarge got in an accident, so can you take
Should
me
I-
to the
should I
movies?
just-
I was literally just thinking, there's nothing I can do about this situation.
I can walk.
Yeah, no.
I seriously think that getting into a car accident on the same day as seeing Gemini Man is only the second worst thing that happened that day. I hate Gemini Man.
I watched Gemini Man, and listen, to me, it's the greatest movie ever made because they made a person out of another person.
Fucking love that line.
I wish Ang Lee like made real movies again and
Frankenstein?
wasn't just obsessed with like fucking high frame rate.
Dude, I keep the 4K copy of Gemini Man on my MacBook so I can show people what a 60 FPS movie looks like. It's not good, but it's funny.
And that
It's
movie played in like
120
120 FPS in a couple theaters, didn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It goes up from the version we have. Yeah, that and Billy Lynn's Halftime Walk. It's crazy when you look at Ang Lee's filmography, and you've got stuff like Sense and Sensibility and Lust, Caution, these artful movies, and then you
Life of Pi.
Yeah, then you've got like the more like techie stuff like The Hulk and Life of Pi. It's weird that the technical side won out, that he spent the entire 2010s making these high frame rate these tech show reels, more or less. I'm happy that for his next film, he's like doing a movie about like two Chinese immigrant children of a gold prospector in the 1800s.
Oh,
Like,
slay.
I'm glad he's going back to the West for Brokeback
awesome.
Mountain or whatever it's called.
Gemini Man made $4 million fewer dollars than Brokeback Mountain.
There we go!
And cost $120 more million to make.
Now we're talking! Boom!
We're so back. Well, I'm excited for the future of Ang Lee, because I'm more inclined to this type of film of like more quiet, emotional pieces, or just very based in humanity, like what was mentioned in Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, and the Father Knows Best trilogy, which is like The Wedding Banquet, and I'm blanking on the rest of them, but I think he is just so, to bring it a little bit back to Brokeback Mountain, I think a lot of its strength is just in the pain and the things that go unsaid, because I mean we've talked about how a lot of emotion is conveyed in such few words, but I think there's so much in the blocking, in the physicality of these actors, and just everything that it just is such a showcase. It is such an example of like show don't tell. I've learned in my own journey as a filmmaker.
You can call yourself
much
that.
of
You make
it.
movies.
Well, there are movies. Technically, that is what they are. But I've learned so much about it in my years that so much of what is emotionally effective is just about timing, both in performances from actors and just the edit. And I think that this movie is just a chef's kiss. It is just a guidebook. It is just a cultural touchstone on how to keep dramatic tension and how to have so much subtextual just anguish, and that is also just, it's just, you just see it in Heath Ledger's just the tension in his shoulders. You see it in how like Jake Gyllenhaal is just a bundle of feeling and
Energy, yeah.
And you even see it in there's that scene, and I hate that the scene, it is kind of a funny reaction image. I'm not above laughing at it, but the meme where she first sees them kissing for the first time passionately, and it's like the Fujo meme or whatever, but like I think her reaction there, just the general like blank shock, it's like she didn't expect that, but I think it in a way confirms something that she maybe never wanted to accept. And you just see her kind of like shut down. And I think I have a slightly negative opinion on Michelle Williams after The Greatest Showman. Sorry, but I think she is just
the greatest
here.
movie she ever did. How dare you? The Greatest Showman, great movie. We're talking about it next week. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Stay tuned.
Me when I lie. Me when I intentionally spread misinformation.
I couldn't tell if you were being serious.
I'm gonna still
we are?
The only part I wasn't being serious about was saying we're talking about it next week.
Tanner, I'm still gonna put the logo up.
Good.
Put it up right here. Okay, put it up.
here.
No, take it down. Put it up. Take it down.
Put it up. Take it down.
No,
Put it up.
stop.
Take it down.
When's
Make it
this
do a
editing
spin.
this?
Make it do a
Guys,
little spin.
I know I haven't been talking,
Put it
but
down.
please don't make me work.
Invert the colors. Put it back down. Put it back up. Turn it upside down. Make it a three-dimensional object. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that to you.
No, but the thing is, I can't.
Cody,
do
you doing
that.
this?
Okay, now make it a four-dimensional.
I'm
This
so
episode
fucking
might take a
scared.
few extra days, guys. I'm gonna have to learn
Sorry,
quantum
Sydney, you were
tunneling.
saying a very sorry, Sydney, you brought up the fucking how Michelle Williams reacting is a great meme image too, and I agree. However, I will say I saw a tweet earlier this year of that scene, and someone quote tweeted that scene and said, "I don't get why she's mad. If that was me, I'd be playing with my pussy." It was so fucking. It was hilarious, but also maybe the most
accurate, real,
the most
real
infuriating thing I've ever read in my life.
I mean, yeah, that's so ridiculous.
It's hilarious, but also what the fuck? My husband's cheating on me?
It's
Is that it for,
meme. It's the ultimate.
what is it for women? Is that for women?
Fujoshi.
Is that
Stop.
Fujoshi, where you want to see men kiss. That's what that tweet is. And I'm going to say the word over and over again until someone reacts to it. I don't know what the Anyway, continue.
I wanted to say something else, so I don't want to. If you had more to say about Fujoshi or whatever your persona, I don't know.
That is the word. Like that is why that meme has risen in popularity in a post-Challengers world. I think we live. That is just like such a commonplace thing, and that tweet is a prime example.
Yeah.
But I also just it does make me sad that it's memed in a way, because that is such a devastating scene. And
so devastating. It's upsetting.
And Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger almost broke each other's noses or something like that, trying to kiss so passionately.
That's true. They threw themselves at each other for that. And Michelle Williams actually requested to watch them kissing to get into character.
Yeah.
Because fun fact, Michelle Williams and Heath Ledger were dating at the time.
Oh,
There's that funny Jake Gyllenhaal quote from around the time where he says, like, Heath and I made love and Michelle and him got a baby out of it. Something along those lines, because they got together on
That's
set.
true.
I am learning a lot.
Also, I've seen people talk about Jake Gyllenhaal something if he is willing to bottom after eating nothing but beans for the past week.
Yo.
He's for the
Braver
queer
than the
community.
troops. Braver than the troops.
I think I was thinking about that in the first 30 minutes. I'm like, damn, they are just eating beans.
Well,
Not even
speaking
soup.
of them, speaking of them out in the woods, with the Randy Quaid character, when Gyllenhaal comes back the next year looking for work, and he's like, I don't want someone that's tying the rows or whatever when they should be watching the sheep. Yes, maybe Randy Quaid doesn't want to hire him because he's homophobic. Or have we considered this, that Jake Gyllenhaal has fucked up doing this job 2 years in a row already, and maybe doesn't want to give him a third chance?
Yeah.
That's possible. That's a plausible point.
Like, he's going up there like he sends them up there with the instructions of Jake Gyllenhaal, don't fuck up this time. Then he goes up there and they're fucking wrestling in the mud, and he's like, I gave you crystal clear instructions.
Yeah, he didn't even say anything. You just went, fuck. And he just walked. Off he goes.
It's telling when, like, one of the first things Heath Ledger sees when they're done fucking for the first time is a dead sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's maybe symbolism there, sure, whatever.
Loss of innocence, something.
Yeah.
No, I think it's
No,
to
just
show
a
that
dead
Randy
sheep.
Quaid is justified in being pissed off because the fucking sheep died again. What
Whoa.
the fuck? He gave him crystal clear instructions. Come on.
Well, this conversation has been absolutely riveting, and I mean that sincerely. I've really
This is
enjoyed
the
talking
mature
about this.
conversation the movie
It-
deserves.
We
I
had
think
our
we've had
mature
a-
conversation.
We've had a fun mix of queer film theory and whatever it has devolved into.
This movie, but it stars Trump and Clinton. Go.
No.
Wait, who's Jack Twist? Who's Jack Nasty?
No.
I have to
Jack
check.
Nasty.
That's such an insult. I don't want to insult
It has
anyone.
to be
See,
Trump.
I
No,
love
it has
the
to be
episode.
Trump.
No, it does.
Jack
You're
Twist
right.
is Trump.
You're
Jack,
right.
that's
Trump is
so
the
mean.
queen
That
of the
is so
two.
mean.
Trump
That
is so
mean to
queen.
Jack.
I know it's mean to whoever gets stuck with who. I don't want to be compared to
That's-
Bill Clinton either.
That's
Jack
true,
Nasty's
but
gonna be my drag king name.
So Michelle Williams is Hillary. Wait, no, that doesn't work out. And no, Michelle Williams is Hillary. It works perfectly.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're moving on to our final thoughts. My sources are telling me that I need to wrap this up now. I don't know. I'm just getting that like. Voice
The voices in my
telling me to
head.
move on. Just telling me to like wrap it up. now. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know
voice
why.
is telling you I don't want to edit a second episode with Trump jokes.
Too bad. So sad.
I'm sorry.
Too bad. So sad. Brokeback Mountain. I had gay sex with Bill Clinton.
Oh my God, he confirmed it verbally.
I'm taking that at face value. That it's actually him.
We're gonna be in Fox News in a week, guys. Be proud of yourself. I'm sorry, Sydney. I keep interrupting you.
No, I'm just thinking back. This has been a really illuminating. I think I'm just gonna kick off the charge and just give my rapid fire final thoughts. I'm just gonna be repeating a lot of the things that have already been mentioned, but I think this is a very special movie, and I think it's a movie that has the potential to be considered overhyped, but it is not overhyped. I think it is perfectly hyped for what it is. I think it is really good, and I think it's the type of movie that I don't think directly panders to straight people, but I think is accessible to them in a way that is important and good. And I could see anyone in my life watching this movie, and if you don't feel something at the end, you're just a fucking heartless monster. And I think everyone here is just incredible. I think Ang Lee is an amazing director. I'm really happy that this was something that he did in a post-Hulk world, and I would have loved to see like what Pedro Almodovar or Gus Van Sant would have done, but I also think that Ang Lee, as I said, is just the master of the pacing of a scene, and he just understands how to really, really direct these actors, and he directs the hell out of this movie. So, yeah, love it. Can't believe it's 20 years old. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to have seen where Heath Ledger's career would have taken him. He is gone way too soon, and it's a tragic loss. Talented actor. Anyway, Cody, what are your final thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
Well, Sydney, due to how much I've talked, you can obviously tell I thought the movie was all right. I don't really have a whole lot to say. The thing is, there's nothing technically wrong with the film. I feel like it's one of those films you're either really engaged with, or you're not. Like, it just kind of comes with the territory.
I wonder why you weren't fully engaged. Mr. Doing Other Things while watching Brokeback Mountain. I love you, Cody. I love you, Cody.
I'm sorry. Sorry I have to do other things with my life. I apologize.
I'm just giving you mild shit. I am the one that forced you on this episode.
It's okay, because I got to get an HD DVD copy, and that was worth being on this episode alone. Except it's not anymore, because this isn't the weirdest thing in my collection. The weirdest thing in my collection is a sealed copy of a 3D Blu-ray Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Ooh,
this is the weirdest thing in my collection.
Disgust me.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyways.
Get that shit out of my face.
Back to you, Sydney.
Tanner, what are your final thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
It's gone, Tanner. It's okay.
Good. I fucking love Brokeback Mountain. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It is one of the most signature gay movies ever made. And it has just a tremendous impact on my life. Well, not tremendous. An impact. I love it. It's beautifully shot, beautifully acted, beautifully directed, beautifully written. What more do you want? One thing I want to say real quick, I meant to bring this up during general discussion and forgot. Jack's mother is the same actress that plays, I think, the judge, or at least one of the judges in Philadelphia. So there's a fun fact for you. Connective tissue between two iconic gay cinemas. Back to you, Sydney.
Orion, what are your final thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
You know what? It's getting 2 thumbs up for me. This is a really great movie that is a movie that has been a part of my, life in my brain for a while. And so being able to rewatch it again and recontextualize it with knowledge that I have both of cinematography and just life in general has been really great. Yeah. A really great movie. I'd say 5 stars. I think that's a well-deserved 5 stars.
And I would absolutely agree with you there. Austin, what are your final thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
Shortly before the 78th Academy Awards, there was a Best Picture nominee party at Paul Haggis's house. That's the guy who directed Crash. Diane Osana and Larry McMurtry were there, and while at the party, Diane saw Clint Eastwood talking to somebody, and she asked a friend to introduce her, because she's a big fan of Clint Eastwood because Unforgiven's one of her favorite movies. She teaches a screenwriting class where she uses Unforgiven as an example of a movie that has a perfect screenplay. And the friend was able to get her a second with Eastwood, but he had this preface, I just want to tell you, Diane, he hasn't seen your movie. And apparently that was the moment Diane Osana realized that Brokeback Mountain wasn't winning Best Picture. But Brokeback Mountain is kind of like Citizen Kane in 2001, and it's one of those movies that helped shape society as it is today, even if it didn't win the big trophy that year. Its impact on everybody kind of transcends the awards that it won. And yeah, I like Brokeback Mountain. Good movie.
Hell yeah, good movie indeed. All right. This has been the Bomb Squad Matinee episode on Brokeback Mountain. Thank you so much for tuning in, seriously. And if you enjoyed this episode, why don't you let us know by leaving a review on the audio platform of your choice? Seriously, it really helps us out. It boosts us in the algorithm, and that would be really cool. Also, if you happen to like what you see here, why don't you head on over to our Patreon? We have bonus content for the $5 tier, like commentary tracks. And the $10 tier gets you a little bonus shout out at the end of every episode. So on that note, shout out to Tanya Kraft. Thank you, you icon diva slay.
Thanks, Mom.
And also thanks to Tanya's mom. And if you want to just be a public supporter of the Bomb Squad, which why wouldn't you? We actually have merch now. So you can mosey on down to bombsquadproductions.shop. As you might see, our model Cody here is showcasing our beautiful shirt.
And it still feels good.
We have everything, and it still feels good, and damn right it does. If you're in the market for shirts, posters, hats, anything, we have probably got it. We've got our short films, we've got posters for that, we've got everything we've worked on. It's all there. And last but not least, if you're watching us on YouTube, let us know what you think about Brokeback Mountain. Do you think it panders to straight people? Do you think it deserved Best Picture? And
yes.
Yes, you better think that.
Over fucking Crash? Come on.
And while you're there, why don't you hit that like and subscribe button to let us know how you really feel? And then you can tune on in next time for our episode, The Matinee, on Predator Badlands. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
They slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.